Shalom. I just want to start off by saying, call her Layam like Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah, Wadash. Want to give double honors to the apostles on that great millstone. Peace and salutations to all like an Akim spreading this truth to the four corners of this earth. My name is Asha Allah. And before we get started, man, I just want to throw out this disclaimer that I am not giving out medical information. All I am doing is just reading. So, tonight's lesson is just going to be entitled Medical Martial Law 2024. And I got this article from Natural News that came out December 3rd, 2023. So about 4 days ago. And we're just going to get right into it. And says it has begun nearly 3 years since Operation Warp Speed delivered the serpent serum to the world, and more people than perhaps ever before are sicker than they have ever been. As the situation worsens, the government is readying to unleash full-scale medical martial law on America, likely at some point next year. Sources are reporting that upward to 50% of people who got the were sick or are still sick with no end in sight. 8 out of 10 people who received the especially including those who at least got one extra to the primary series, are suffering complications that could end up disabling them. And we see in real time this happening, man. Athletes, young adults, are suffering at an alarming rate, dropping dead at an alarming rate, being deleted at a high rate because of the It says, according to Dr. Peter McCullough, every single person who got even just one bite of the serpent serum or the serpent is now experiencing some kind of problem or series of problems related to their heart. Whether they realize it or not, those who do realize it often discover it by surprise when they suffered an unexpected cardiac arrest or inflammatory reaction like myocarditis. Like I said, we are seeing this real time. People are being deleted at a high rate. And when you go into that word myocarditis, it's just inflammation of the heart muscle. So like I said, you're seeing the young adults. You're seeing a rapid increase of heart attacks from people that got the serum. It says as time goes on and the bodies of the fully degrade even further, there will likely come a point when a critical mass of sick people create enough of a public health scare that the infamous quarantine camps are open and filled with the sick. New York is said to have its quarantine camps ready and waiting for the political green light to start loading up the boxcars, so to speak, and delivering prisoners to their bunks. Other states are reported doing the same, often quietly. And right here, in this other article, because this article is saying that New York is said to have its quarantine camps ready and waiting for the political green light. Now, they just got the political green light. This is Rule 213, and it's not a coincidence at all that it's called Rule 213. 2 plus 1 plus 3 is, and it's titled Isolation and Quarantine Procedures. um, it says the appellate division of the Fourth Judicial Department reversed the Borrello Lawler Teague Uniting NYS versus Hochul ruling. Senator George Borrello, Assemblyman Chris Tague, Assemblyman, now Congressman Michael Lawler, and the citizens organization Uniting NYS had initially sued New York Governor Kathy Hochul and the New York State Department of Health over Rule 213, entitled Isolation and Quarantine Procedures. What does that mean? The state can now force anyone into quarantine for any reason, as this is not limited to the serum. It says the government now has legal authority to remove residents from their homes and force them into quarantine camps. There is no age restriction. Children could be removed from their homes without parental consent. They do not need to warn citizens when they are coming or how long they must quarantine. You will be required to take any steps the state mandates, including taking medications against your will. There is no due process, no court hearing, no rule of law, as the government may now abduct citizens in the name of public health. Now, that's all in the Rule 213 bill that was overruled, that was appealed, and Kathy Hochul won that appeal. And my first precept I want to grab is Sirach 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And going back to this article, right, these people who had took the serpent serum trusted in the enemy, man. And what is it saying? And what is the outcome of that? The outcome of it is you are literally feeling the effects of trusting in your enemy. Surprisingly getting heart attacks, and inflammation in your heart, man, and being deleted. So going back to this article, it says in parentheses related, President Biden has been dropping hints that a second round of medical martial law is coming soon to the states. And I have that article put up as well, which came up in August 7th of 2023 this year. And it's titled Biden setting stage for second round of medical martial law. Now it says, we're just going to read a little bit of this. It says, the regime of the fake president Joe Biden is setting in stone a new permanent federal agency to handle future scam demics, because the was only just the beginning. Called the Office of Scamdemic Preparedness and Response Policy, OPPR. The agency has hastily and quietly established on July 21st to handle whatever the globalists have in store for the world as the next Serpent Serum 2.0 event. It says it would seem as though the 3-year PSYOP was merely a test run to iron out the kinks for the next, much bigger PSYOP even. The Serpent Serum was the catalyst for implementing the OOPR, much like how 9/11 terrorist attacks were the catalyst for the Bush regime to establish the Department of Homeland Security. Now, we know that much bigger PSYOPs are coming, because they have deemed this year the year of the poly crisis. Poly meaning many, and when you go into that word crisis, in which we can do real quick, I have it pulled up here on the Etzmon. It says decisive point in the progress of a DISEASE. Also, vitally important or decisive state of things, point at which change must come for better or worse. And we know that that change is coming for worse, for many worse things. As the Serpent Serum came at the end of the year 2019, around the same month that this new crisis is happening, where you have pneumonia, super pneumonia, and that was also first reported out of New York, as of the Serpent Serum was first reported out of when it did come to the United States. And then you have reports of this super pneumonia also in Ohio. Right? So we see the stage being set for a medical martial law, coming in 2024. And I just want to read the end of this first article again. It says New York is said to have its quarantine camps ready and waiting for the political green light to start loading up boxcars, so to speak, and delivering prisoners to their bunks. Other states are reportedly doing the same. Right. So if this is already if this has the green light in New York, that means that other states are getting this in the motion as well, and keep reading down on this article. It says the DeSantis what bill for Florida, a Trojan horse. It's actually a what bill. It says, believe it or not, believe it or not, Florida under Governor Ron DeSantis is another state where residents face the same forced quarantine situation that New Yorkers do under Governor Kathy Hochul. DeSantis is a Republican and Hochul is a Democrat, demonstrating once again that tyranny is a bipartisan effect in America. And it's like whether it's Republican or Democrat, it's two the same feathers, two different feathers of the same eagle, and it says Hochul's forced quarantine measures are at least clearly outlined as such. DeSantis is hiding behind a so-called what bill that, upon closer investigation, is actually a forced what bill in disguise. Salaki. It says, as stated directly in DeSantis' no, you know what bill, the government of Florida can now issue an order for an individual to be examined, tested, stabbed, stabbed, treated, isolated, or quarantined for communicable uh, diseases that have significant morbidity or mortality and present a severe danger to public health. Individuals who are unable or unwilling to be examined, tested, stabbed, or treated for reasons of health, religion, or conscience may be subjected to isolation or quarantine. It says the DeSantis no you know what bill goes on to state that if an individual in Florida is deemed to be a danger to the public health, he or she can be apprehended by a state health officer and forced into isolation or quarantine, just like the New York bill. And I had looked over the New York bill, and yeah, it's saying exactly what this Armstrong economics is saying, that no matter under no it's saying that there can be no suspicion at all, or under any suspicion, if you even cough, they have the right, they have the right to take you and to quarantine you against your will, and it could be anybody, no, there's no age limit, none of that, and my next precept I want to grab is Revelations 12:12, and it says, therefore rejoice, all ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having a great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And the devil being Esau Edom, he's coming down upon the people, man. It all started with that Operation Warp Speed, where Trump was um, Trump authorized massive manufacturing of the serpent serum, to get onto the people, and now we see that we see the effects, or now people are seeing the effects of the serpent serum, and so they have to um contaminate them. They have to um get them isolated in quarantine, man, and that's the devil coming down onto you, because he know if he hath but a short time. He's getting the ball rolling on with his plans, man. And real quick, just want to play a little excerpt from a little video from TikTok.
Are you in New York? Well, you better not cough, because if you do, they can take you away. As a matter of fact, even if you're not coughing, they can take you away. Under the new Rule 2.13, isolation and quarantine procedures gives the state of New York the ability to come into your home and take you away to quarantine without any notice for any virus or infection they deem necessary. You don't even have the option to fight it. You don't even get due process. It's not like, a 5150 in California where you get that 72-hour hold to make sure that you're not dangerous. No, you get hauled off. They don't even tell you where they're going to take you. They don't even tell your family where they're going to take you. And if you refuse to open the door, they'll kick it in, even though there's no reasonable, articulable suspicion whatsoever, let alone probable cause, and no warrant, and no due process after. I think I already mentioned that. Why would anybody stay there? I wonder. I mean, this is horrible. But you also get too high taxes and terrible city services all at the same time. If I lived in New York, I would be moving right now. Are you?
And you see that, you see a lot of the millionaires that help bring in um, revenue for the state of New York. You see them up and moving, man. Like you see them leaving New York, but like the article said, if this is happening in New York, other states are going to follow as well. Just like when New York instituted mandates, 6 feet apart, you know, um, the essential workers, um, and all that stuff, man. Let's see, another precept I want to grab. This is Revelations 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." And this is what's going to be happening real soon, man. So some of us, may have to go into these prisons, man. Some of us may have to be in these camps, man. Held against our will. It says you should have tribulation 10 days. Now, this is not uh, saying that at the 11th day you shall be released. The 10 days is just um, it's just meaning like a set time, man. It it may be 2 weeks, and maybe 2 years. 2 years, hopefully not 2 years. It is just a set number. It's just a set amount of time. And I also, I believe I watched his as well.
Pay attention, America, especially if you live in New York City, because they just passed legislation on 2.13. Google it. New York 2.13. This article was published on November 22nd, 2023 by Armstrong Economics, and it was put up on LinkedIn. You guys can find this article very easily. This article on 2.13.
And he's just going to go into what I went into in that article. But I wanted to pull this video up because I seen the first two comments, and the first comment, from Dave, says, "My law 556 and 223 trumps the New York Bill 2.13." And then right under it, it was another comment from Billy saying, "This means war." And these Americans, man, they're not gonna go down without a fight. And that's in the scripture. That's in the scriptures as well. Let me see. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 4. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand." And that's going to be a play out, man. That's going to be played out. Verse 16, it says, for there shall be a sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So when you go into this word sedition, it says the crime of creating a revolt, disturbance, or violence against lawful civil authority with the intent to cause an overthrow or destruction. And in that bill, it says that the local health authority, has the right, to send law enforcement, into your crib, uh, to pull you out and to get you isolated. If they suspect that you are a danger to the society, man. So you're gonna see seditions, man. And it says, what a man shall desire. It says, verse 17, this is second Ezra 15 and second and verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's because of martial law, man. You're gonna have these checkpoints set up where you're not going to be able, to make it into the next city, man. Oh, you're going to be in solitary confinement, in isolation, in a hole. Let's see. Last precept I want to grab is this Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. The spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him. So the enemy is going to come in like a flood, man. They don't have to tell you, like I said, no due process, like the article said, and like it's in writing, man. No due process. What does that mean? In simplest terms, that means that they don't have to give you a notice, man. They don't have to give you a notice of when they're coming, of how long. They don't have to give you a notice of when they're coming, how long you're going to be detained. They don't have to give you an advance notice for really the taking of your life, your liberty, or your property. They're going to establish also eminent domain, man. But it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. So certain elect men, are going to are going to receive those super abilities, man. That's the spirit of the Lord lifting up a standard against the enemy coming in like a flood, man. You may find yourself surrounded, man, and a brother just come out of nowhere and drop them like bowling pins, and deliver you up out of there, man. Take you up out of there. Um, but that's all I had. I just wanted to go in and show that what medical martial law is coming in 2024, man. They're laying down the groundwork right now. They're passing the necessary bills, to get everything set up right now. Matter of fact, let me just grab this last precept. Psalms, 94 and verse 20. Says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? When you go into that word, let's see, you go into that word mischief. An evil condition, misfortune, hardship, wickedness, and they establish wrongdoing, evil, and we seeing it playing out now. They're establishing it by law, man. They're passing these bills into effect, man, to establish what? Misfortune, to establish wickedness, to establish, you know, hard times, man. You know, because being held against your will, man, without no notice, with you know, being taken from your house, man, having your family members taken and dragged from you, man, not knowing where they going, not knowing when they gonna return, man. You know, that's that's wicked as all hell, man. You know, but it's in their power to do so, and they do it. You know, so hopefully this was edifying. You know, I just want to end off by saying, call Halayam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Bahashem Chahakwadash. Want to give double honors to the Apostle, Son of Elders, Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to Aphilek and Akim. Spreading His truth at the four corners of this earth. Shalom.